Speaking of elections, one person not running for election is Portland's outgoing Mayor Ted Wheeler. Last night, he gave his final State of the City talk. He said that after 8 years as mayor, he's burned out. He does not have the energy needed for another term. He also wants to spend more time with his daughter. Okay, now I know a good number of you do not live in the Portland area, but hold on. Wheeler headed the city for 2 terms, and it's the economic engine for our area, so odds are you did feel the impact in some form or fashion. That's why I know you'll be as interested as I am in some of his comments. First off, he said, being mayor of Portland actually is very hard.
Several of my closest friends said, don't do it. And I remember one in particular saying, Portland devours its mayors. That has stuck with me all of these years. But I did it anyway, just like you guys are doing it anyway. I felt compelled, in fact, to step forward. I saw the city's potential, and I believed I had something to provide to the community in terms of helping us overcome these challenges that we were facing at that time. And just to show you how thick-skulled I am, I actually did it twice. But honestly, I feel like I was made for it. It wasn't always fun. It wasn't always easy. I wasn't always successful. I did some things right. I did some things wrong. There are things I would do over and do completely differently if I could actually turn the clock back, but you can't. But I believe I was made for this. And in particular, one characteristic that a Portland mayor needs, in addition to an ironclad sense of humor, is resilience. My 3 expeditions to Mount Everest, snowshoeing to the North Pole, participating in many full-length Ironman races, I think helped build that sense of fortitude and resilience. But I can honestly tell you this, summiting Mount Everest, it is a cakewalk compared to being mayor of Portland. It is a cakewalk.
Wheeler had held elected office before as the Multnomah County Chair and then the Oregon State Treasurer. Some thought he was destined to go on one day to be Oregon Governor. But now he says no, he's done with elected office. He talked about the riots of 2020 and noted the threats against himself and his family during that time. Later, the mayor highlighted specialty groups created during his tenure to try and stop gun violence. And he criticized men for shooting each other over petty issues.
And then I'm just going to say this, folks. There's not everything. Government can't do it all. We are seeing too many cases, and dudes, I'm talking to you right now. Too many cases where men, because that's who's doing this, where men are resolving petty conflicts with firearms. And we just had this ridiculous situation where 2 dads are going to the school pickup line, and they got over some dispute over, apparently, I guess, who was first in the pickup line, and shots were fired, and somebody was shot. And then in Gresham, and I realize it's not part of our statistics, but in Gresham, somebody's car stereo was allegedly a little bit too loud, so they had a shootout. We need to learn to resolve conflict in ways that are not so violent. Accountability matters too, and I hear from a lot of people, they say, look, I like the cops, but they have the ability to use lethal force. We need some accountability. For decades, we dithered around on body-worn cameras. I said on my first day, before I leave, police officers in this city will have body-worn cameras, and they do now. And that's all the way from the new sworn in, all the way up to the police chief. Anybody who intervenes with the public will have a body-worn camera.
And finally, Ted Wheeler said he feels good about the progress made on the homeless issue, especially the work done by the city over the last 2 years.
And the whole point isn't just to get people to live in a shelter. The point is to get them into the shelter, connect them with services, then navigate them to housing that's reserved for that population. So they're off the streets and they can reclaim their lives, move on with their lives, and not be one of our statistics. And so what we did is every single person who comes into one of those sites today is navigated to services. Drug addiction, mental health services, job training services, domestic violence survivorship services, housing, whatever they need to get off and stay off the streets. And thanks to the work of others like Dan Ryan and the SRVs, we're now going back. We're retooling the SRVs. We're connecting them to the navigation of services. We're expanding some of the sites like Reedway, as well as Multnomah Village. And I feel really good about where we are today because it contrasts with what I walked into in 2017 when the city of Portland did not directly operate even one emergency shelter bed. As of June of 2022, we went from 0 to now operating 9 city shelters, including large-scale task sites. And folks, I am pleased to announce that next Monday we will officially open our 10th large-scale shelter site on North Portland Road, which will offer 70 RV spots as well as 90 sleeping pods. So what this means is in just over a 2-year period, the city of Portland has opened 868 sleeping units, all of which are connecting people to services they need for whatever their specific suite of issues may be. And we have navigated.
Ted Wheeler said he'd like to hang around a little bit after the first of the year to help the new mayor and the city council get a good start.